Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Wilds of Eldraine is here on Arena, and we're going to try out some best of one standard decks. And today we're going to be trying an update to Mono Black. So the big thing with Mono Black is we got access to Beseech the Mirror. This is a powerful card. This won the Legacy event in Europe this past weekend. Obviously more broken in Legacy, but this allows us for 4 mana to search our library for a card. But if we bargain it, sacrificing an artifact, enchantment, or token, we're able to put said card into play if it's 4 mana or less. So we can basically have 5 copies of Sheoldred here, but it also lets us toolbox certain cards. So Sorin in like control matchups, Obliterator versus mono red, Liliana against control, so kind of ways around that. The way we're enabling the bargain is Hopeless Nightmare. 1 mana deals to opponent discards a card. And then we have Life of Tashiro, which gives us either some removal early, some life gain to kind of keep us afloat, or then transforms. We have Razor Lash Transmogrant as well. That becomes it's an artifact, well, though a creature, it's an artifact, and then it comes back to the graveyard, similar to like Tenacious Underdogs as well. And then the Myrex tokens makes artifact tokens, so we can beseech those. The rest of the deck is kind of your mono black deck. The format's been fairly there's been a couple control decks, but a lot of creature decks. So just having access to, your bread and butter removal, Evolved Sleepers in here, Sheoldred's Edict for Planeswalkers we can tutor, and then Graveyard Trespasser to eat away at the graveyards. So we'll give this one a go. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Obviously, you can play a bunch of different cards, but the big thing here is you want to be mindful of what's in the 5-drop slot. So normally we would play stuff like Gix Command, you might play like the new Ashiok, but with Beseech you really want to focus on 4 CMC or less to have access to that. What we might also want to look at in this type of deck is, do we want access to something like a sweeper, like a 3-mana sweeper? So sometimes situationally not the best, but we can do something like Path to Peril. We can also look at the one that hates on white cards, so if like white is very prominent. Okay, so this is Ramp. So Ramp's generally a pretty atrocious matchup. So +2/2. So hopefully this is just no leyline binding this turn, please. So they don't have enough. I guess they do have enough, but our line here is always Evolve Sleeper into Razor Slash. Okay, so they go Herd Migration here. So this cares if an opponent has 4 or more non-basics. So the ramp decks generally do have a number of non-basics that we see here. So the question here is, how do we want to proceed for this turn? We have Beseech up. So I think I'm going to get Sorin here. So I'm going to do this because they can have Sunfall this turn. Liliana, I like my hand, and I don't really want to get rid of stuff. So I think we go Sorin here. I think our line is different if we know that they don't have the potential. Okay, so we got Obliterator. Obliterator's not great in this matchup, to be honest, because they have a lot of exile removal. Okay, so we see Archangel of Wrath. Let's cut downs aren't doing wonders for me. Also, just not hitting a land isn't great. Okay, so we do have access with this. So Archangel will come into Sorin, but providing us some card advantage isn't bad. We're also just not hitting lands and dealing a ton of damage to ourselves, which is super fun. So I guess this time they can go Atraxa. But we don't draw our other land. We've gone through 16 cards, 4 lands, so a little unfortunate. Also, just not drawing a Go for the Throat feels really bad here. So they're going to hit Leyline, they're going to hit Rex. So they've just kind of drawn really well out of this. Drawing cut downs against this feels terrible. Part of the problem here. I mean, we might be able to get them. Okay.
You wish to know my secrets? Very well.
Good start. So I can edict them here. They take 7. Opponent sacks and non-creatures. So they have to sack the Archangel of Wrath here. So at least this keeps my Sorin, like, kind of alive. 9. I think we're just doing this. I guess that line's a little rough. Maybe I should have held it back, because now they kill my Sorin. I didn't think of that. That's certainly interesting. I guess Archangel comes down here. I guess Sorin was dead anyways, since they had the kicker ability. Super frustrating just not drawing lands this game. Yeah, had I done Evolve Sleeper, I might have been able to push the damage through, but might have a harder time racing at this point, because they're going to be able to herd migration here. They also have the ability to just gain 3 life, but potentially hitting the Hopeless Nightmare. Sorin did pretty well there, but we've still drawn a third of our deck and have only hit 4 lands. And they keep finding Atraxas, including Ossification here, so they're also going to hit a land, untap land, so we're dead. I mean, what are you going to do in those games? You draw 19 cards and hit 4 lands, and then hit 2 double cut downs against a deck. Like, I think it's reasonable. The card that we could play is like Rankle's Prank, but I think Rankle's Prank is situational. We just kind of got there. Even if we went, though, the Evolve Sleeper, they had 2 pings out of their things, so they were killing us anyways. Okay, let's try this again. Mono red. So obviously mono red on the play is a little troublesome, but okay, we got Scoundrel coming in. It's card's very good. So they do the roll token. I think we're just passing the turn here. This is likely going to be kill the scoundrel. And then eat with Trespasser. And then hopefully just resolve Shieldred and win through that. No blocks. The nice thing with Trespasser, it kind of 2-for-1s them. No attacks. We do need to hit a land here. Okay, so they're on the Shivan Devastator. Raptor. Did not expect to see that. This can also pump. Raptor's an interesting one. What is with us just not drawing lands in any of these games? Absurd. Like you would have to expect at a certain point you can hit lands. We're gonna go up to 25, I think. So I think we do this. This might get blown out, which looks like it's the case. But we have to kind of pursue it in that angle. Okay, so this Shieldred will trade with the Raptor here. Hopefully it's just land. So we're forced to block here. The Raptor has actually been really meaningful this game. Takanuma. So if we can get through this turn, we're okay. Godric coming in big. Okay, we gotta add a land. Like, this is just silly. Somehow don't draw any lands in our deck. Maybe just trim the Edict, play another land. Bit unfortunate there. We get the land a turn earlier, we can potentially kind of combat that a little bit better, but okay, we'll try this hand out. One goes first, but we're on a creature deck, we're well equipped for it. Obviously need to hit some lands, but the story of this game has been, what are lands? Okay, so if this is enchantments, we're probably okay. This could be tokens. Okay, enough to shear us. Let's gain 2 life. So we can stack these. So if they play like a 2 power, notably this has is an instant speed spell, so they should probably play it at instant speed. Because now they're gonna get hit. I think we do this. Play out another Toshiro. Minus here, just because this turn we have the stack. where next turn we can just kill the crawling course. So I think we are interested this game. And at least controlling their 1/1s. So we'll kill the Resolute Reinforcements. And then play out Shieldred. -1/1. With a land, this becomes a lot better. But it kind of weakens their attacks. So we should probably be able to stabilize here. I have access to Sorin. Sorin we can minus. They can play out their virtues here. It does put counters on things, but... Okay, so here... I think we... start going up.
Nothing on Innistrad is free.
So they can attack here. It's actually a fine trade for me. They get the might back. While we can't hit that, we are able with the go for the throat, thanks to this. Fallen Hair. Pick up another Pollen Hair here. Spamming the board. So with them only attacking there, do you think we block? I'm interested in doing that. The question is, I could kill the Pollen Hair or I can kill their token. I think at this point, we're just killing the token. So these are all our lands from the previous game.
Blood for knowledge, a fair trade.
So we'll do this. Life of Tashiro here, gain 2 life. So we're going to try to just win through this Sorin ult. Or at the very least, force them to divert resources. So that is pretty scary. They don't have great attacks here. Okay, go for the throat is also great here. Let's just gain some life. So I think here I'm just gonna flip back. Razor Slash doesn't actually do anything here. Okay, so they can flip me back, but they're just dead now without attacking into Sorin. Okay, so... kill you. Block, block, block. Win through Sorin. And their head explodes. So when we actually hit lands, we can win some games, which is always nice. The fact we don't have like a 4-mana sweeper that we can tutor for feels a little bad at times, but obviously we want to see what we can do with the confines of Standard. It's very customizable how we approach this. We are playing it a little bit more mid-rangey. We can shift more aggro based, and maybe that's how we do approach this, with like playing maybe top end of like your 4 mana spot be Rankle's Prank, and then play it with like recursive graveyard things. Okay, so we go first. We'll go Evolve Sleeper, because then Evolve Sleeper gives us the option to double spell. We can also go to Shiro depending on what they play out here. Few options here. Okay, so in this case, especially since we drew Beseech, I want to take advantage that this is a free kill spell. So they could be mono blue, they can be Dimir fairies, they're Dimir. Dimir had a very low win rate from what I've seen thus far on Untapped. I think we're just going to do this, because if they have cut down, it still gets me. If they have fairy fencing, I think it's fine as well. So the thing is, with fairy fencing, or whatever the X spell is, it doesn't actually hit me right now because they don't have a fairy in play. And that's part of the reason why taking the fairies off the board is impactful. So if they have like a creature here, I want to kill it when it flashes in. They might have a counter spell here. It also just plays me further, so let's not commit. If they do have the removal, we're fine. If they don't have the removal, next turn if we hit a land, I can life it to Shiro and Beseech, but in this matchup, we don't have necessarily a great hit. Because they have targeted removal, we don't necessarily want to find like one thing. Like Soren's probably fine in this matchup. I'm just going to pass the turn here. I think we do this because it makes the fairy spells worse, and then I don't want to get countered. Also, it's worse if they have Kaido. They could have a counter spell here. I do think I'm more inclined to throw Liliana into a counter spell than the Trespasser. Trespasser can help me. And the thing is, like, even if they play another creature after this, the Liliana is always going to hit the worst thing in this matchup. Okay, so we got the counter spell out, which is good. So we could Beseech like Toshiro here. So we do want to see them kind of tap out. They did bin a land, so if they do miss a land drop, then it's a little aggressive on their part. They're playing incredibly slow. Okay, so that could be Kaido coming down. Okay, see fairy fencing. It could have another fairy like spell stutter. Yeah. Like, we're winning this race right now, and if I could get these counter spells out of the way, because then I could just Sorin and start plussing. I'd love a cheap removal spell. We always have like the basis of just going to get removal. Trying to do this to bait them to tap out, because if I could Sorin plus, then I'm happy. Just all the one. Tell me you have another counter. Jesus. Like, if you have literally this in your opener, and now this Beseech doesn't do anything. I'll just pass the turn here. I think I have to try to get Sorin back. And then just use Sorin as a distraction. Okay, so they're flooding a bit too now. The good thing is their clock's not too significant. So this plays worse than to make disappear, but ooh, that's actually good. Because this gets rid of the threat, and it gives me a Beseech target. So they can exile this, draw a card, but I think that's fine, all things considered. The Prankster's interesting. So they could get a counterspell here. They can also get Halo Forger, but Halo Forger doesn't have Flash. They could get the Fairy Mastermind. Like, they kind of need a threat here. The Mastermind's probably the best because it has Flash. It could get around. Yeah, so they go Mastermind here. I could just gain 2 life here. Gain 2 life here. So the nice thing is setting it up this way. Get a card out of their hand, so it does force some action out of them. And then this way they have to either counter Sorin, which they don't. Because they can easily have a removal spell, I think I plus here. It's a good distraction. It's perfect. So this gives me another threat to hit the Fairy Mastermind with. Toshiro will flip. And really at this point, it's Sorin is a distraction. So we'll plus Sorin here.
My ways are
So I want this to resolve. And then we have access to Beseech. They can make us draw a card here, which I'm also happy for. Like, thanks, I hit my line drop now. So because they're on Halo Forger, they're also on that. So we probably want the 3/1. They have 2 fencings anyway, so I can't cut them off it. So probably just the Halo Forger. In this matchup, the Life of Toshiros are very effective. Gives us a way to kind of attack their hand, like their creatures. Their hand is pretty full. We get to scry 2 off the Hopeless Nightmare, which is also nice. Combat Research. Go in face. So life will kill Fairy Dream Thief. Oh, that's really good. So you die. I think here... Oh, I don't even need to do that. I have enough mana. So we'll bargain here. Just gonna get Shieldred probably. The scry doesn't really matter. I mean, we could Hopeless Nightmare, eat at their hand more. But I think we're just gonna Shieldred. Try to kill this. Because this also punishes their card draw. Could have done this post-combat, but I think we want to look at those lines just to see like what we're baiting them out for spells. But all in all, like the deck's fine. Like with mono black, as always, like if your removal lines up and you can stick an unanswered Shieldred, it's very powerful. Similarly, if you can like stick an Obliterator, the Beseech does add some flexibility. I did really like the Sorins in the deck, that I would potentially consider adding more of those. We are grinding quite a bit, so having access to them was nice. I think the Obliterators largely is going to be win more. They're okay against mono red, but they can kind of get around you. I think just having access to another Sorin would be impactful. There's also like the bargain card draw effects, but I think 3 Beseech is probably where we want to be, all things considered. Let me know what you think in the comments. Catch you next time. Thanks for watching.